Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Psycho's Platters, always powered by coffee each and every time. That's right. I know. I think Rach is doing an episode. She is. I was on there just a little bit ago. I thought I would go off and be the VC palate cleanser, if you will, considering that I missed all the drama again. Yes. I love missing the drama on whatever happens in the VC. I consider myself the Switzerland of the VC. I try to stay out of the shit that goes on in the VC. Hi, Tyler. How you doing? Yeah, it's been about 2 weeks since I had a broadcast, and last week was just too screwy. But so. Like I said, I was on Rachel's stream for about 20 minutes. I guess I missed yesterday's drama. I have no clue. See, so, I guess for us VCers that don't watch the Super Bowl, we had to have some form of entertainment, I guess, right? I have no clue. Damn it. I hate it when that happens. I hate it when I miss all the shit. See, because then I go off and I make a bowl of popcorn and I just sit there and watch. I watch the train wreck, justified or unjustified, going before my very eyes. Now, I know you're probably maybe asking yourself, and maybe you didn't ask, why is he calling this the VC Love Boat for the episode? Oh, you'll find out at the end. You will find out at the end why I called it the VC Love Boat. But I know I wanted to do this a little sooner today, but I've been busy. Boy, The mighty psycho here on my days off, Sunday, Mondays are usually my days off. I am always like this. The only difference between my days off and my job is I don't have to wear a vest on my days off, but it's like this all the time. So I trust, hopefully everybody had themselves a decent weekend. And I know it's Monday, and Mondays aren't really great because I don't like Mondays because I want to shoot hoot the whole day down. Yes. But I didn't watch the Super Bowl. So whoever was rooting for the Rams, good for you. You guys, your team won. I have a friend of mine that I work with at, and he's a huge Rams fan. He was a Rams fan back when they were in St. Louis, if you remember that, NFL trivia people. And I think that's pretty neat, too. Oh, here we go. Hey, like water off a duck's ass. We're going to trickle this. What do you mean, seriously? I have to be the VC palate cleanser, ladies and gentlemen, because Richard, you know what? We're going to throw this out there. I still do not know what happened yesterday because I'm live now. No, it's Memorex. It's I'm dead. It's a ethereal psycho doing a show. Of course I'm live now. Why the hell would I not be? I was planning on being live in the first place. I didn't know that Rach was going to time hers. It's all right, though. Like I said, I am the VC Switzerland, ladies and gentlemen, and that's okay. That is totally all right. I'm not the czar. I'm not, but I do agree with the czar that you should be able to call records vinyl and vice versa. Okay. Personally, none of us really, no hassling on the terms. As long as you collect the stuff, that's what counts, ladies and gentlemen. And boy, do I have some things to show here in a little bit. Yes, I'm just trying to see if maybe a few more people will go in the room here. And I've got book finds. I've got vinyl finds. The vinyl finds, the LP ones were from today. They were from today. And a couple people might go, ooh, when I show these. Well, look at you. See, because Psycho is the safe haven. But remember, ladies and gentlemen, no bullshit here. I am not into VC drama. I am going to continue it that way because I like running my shows my way. But here in the peanut gallery and in the studio audience, have it your way. Have it your way at Psychos Platters. I know my script writer's got to work on that a little better. So, all right. Let's throw out new subs. I got new subs. Yeah. Since the last time, I welcome to the Psycho Universe Vinyl Mole, Nerdy Vinyl, Miss You, who's on Michael Pilmer's channel, another awesome channel out there. And a new one from today, Rock Daydream Nation. That's right. All sub to the Psycho Platter Network. And let's see, what else can we talk about here? It is, of course, VD Day. Go get yourself the clap. No, that's not it. It's Valentine's Day. Well, no shit. Why do you think I asked? Why do you? I know I'm not stirring a shit pot. I just want the cliff notes. I don't want the whole drama mama scenario again, because obviously it already happened yesterday. But I'm a nosy fucker. I've been known to be nosy, and I'll be probably that way the rest of my days. And but yeah, so it's okay. So new subs, got the new subs out of the way. I do want to throw out a potential announcement. Okay, a potential announcement. This is not 100% clad, since I only have one person watching. It seems like on my screen, which that's all right. Because like I said, I know Rach has got 70 plus people watching there, but this is the only wedge of time I have to do one this week. So, you're going to message me? All right. So that's fair enough, Richard. So March 5th, which if I remember correctly is on a Sunday. So Sunday, March 5th in around noon, there is a record show in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Barring anything stupid, the Mighty Psycho will make an appearance. So when it gets closer to time, I'll have more details. But we are hoping this will be my first record show down here. I've gone to a couple record shows in the Chicagoland area, but I've never done record shows in the Tulsa, Oklahoma area. So if you are nearby to Tulsa, Oklahoma, I know Jeff Kendall, who is one of the VC Fab Four. He lives in Okie City, and if I remember correctly, I think Miranda lives near Tulsa also. So if either or both are watching, yes, we're going to try this again. I tried to show up at the last record show, which was around in mid-January, if I remember correctly. But unfortunately, at the last minute, things got in the way, and that's what happens sometimes in life. Things get in the way. There is, like I said, not only is the March 5th record show, I hope I've got that date right, but there also is a record show at the back end of the month in March in Springfield, Missouri. So if I don't make it to the Tulsa, Oklahoma show, I am hoping to appear at the record show, the Route 66 record show in Springfield, Missouri, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm hoping to, by then, I might have some business cards made. Hell, I might even get some stickers made, and I might be doling out some stuff. That'd be nice. I can't afford to dole out money or CDs or albums, let's face it. I could be really cute, I guess, and go off and make a couple 45 grab bags and give some away. But chances are it's stuff I don't like. It's called White Elephant. Pass it to the next person. As they open the bag and they're like, Psycho, that fucker. He got me stuck with some Andy Williams 45s and Stonewall Jackson and Percy Faith. So how about I go off and I show you a awesome, unexpected gift. We'll start this off with the broadcast here. I still couldn't believe I got this. Now, I know that it's very small. That's not what she said. And so I'll try to do this the best I can. But I got this Friday from my friend Donna Jo Cat Lady, who has been a friend of the show for a long, long time. Now, I know you're sitting here going, what the heck? This is a original 1968 Diecast monkey mobile made in Great Britain with the little monkeys in there. Yes. And I'll tell you, I'm really happy to get this. I really, really am. I have the one they made in the 90s, the Diecast scale. I should show that sometime. But I still couldn't believe that she got me this. And like I said, 1968. OG. OG. So very happy about that. Let's see here. I know I appreciate the 2 people that are in here. Yes, I know. Like I said, it's partially my fault because I know Rach is on, but that's all right. This is the only way I was going to get this done was by shooting it now. I think I'm shooting for anywhere from a 90-minute to 2-hour show, guys, because in the 8 o'clock Central Standard Time hour, I'm going to have to zippity-doo-dah to start doing family taxi stuff. I threw up an invite if anybody cares to come on. Okay, we'll throw this out unexpectedly as well. A couple days ago, rest in peace, Ian Mcdonald, ladies and gentlemen. Ian Mcdonald has been around for at least 50 plus years in music. He was an original member of King Crimson. I'm telling you, I like the OG King Crimson. I do. I've tried to wrap my head around, like, I even like the 80s King Crimson, that trilogy of albums that they did, Discipline and 3 of a Perfect Pair, and there was another one. And I can wrap my head around that, the ones with Adrian Belew. Excellent guitar player. Excellent guitar player. If I remember correctly, he's from Madison, Adrian Belew is. But the King Crimson, that kind of stuff I like. But Ian Mcdonald, original member of King Crimson, of course, on Court of the Crimson King, and a couple other ones. And, of course, an original member of Foreigner. Now, say what you will about Foreigner, but those first 3 albums, okay, you talk about the first one, Double Vision and Head Games, were some damn good albums. They really, really were. And then when they scaled the lineup down to 4, out of all honesty, 4 is still a damn good album, but then they kind of slid from there. You know what I'm saying? But so yeah, Ian Mcdonald passed away just a couple days ago. I think that's the only music-related death that I can remember that came across the wire on that. Excuse me. Later in the week here, 50-50 chance that I am going to go see Jeff Tate from Queensryche. He is down here. Like I said, it just really depends, to be honest. I got to see how things work in my schedule. I'd like to see him, but I have not been to a concert since March 2020. Nectar was the last concert that I saw. Kansas was the next show that I was looking at. Actually, it was Kansas and Arlo Guthrie were supposed to appear within March and April of 2020. And of course, everybody killed their shows. Arlo Guthrie, unfortunately, has since retired. And then Kansas did reschedule the tour. But unfortunately, now it is in Fort Smith in Arkansas instead of Fayetteville. And as much as I like Kansas, and even with Ronnie Platt, the singer that's been with them for the last 2 albums, I don't feel like trying to drive down to Fort Smith. To me, it's a pain in the ass. And then there was another concert change coming up over in Eureka Springs next month. It originally was supposed to be Marshall Tucker Band with Dave Mason as the opener. Somehow Dave Mason has been removed as the opener, and the Outlaws have been put in his place. So that is a night of Southern rock. Definitely. The tickets are not too bad if they're in the nosebleed, but I'm debating about going to that, but that's in Eureka Springs, Arkansas. So, all right. Like I said, I did leave up the invite if anybody cares to come up. Thank you very much. I see we have a few more people up here. How about I start? So I showed the monkey mobile for the first thing. How about I show you some book finds? How about that? So this is all stuff that I picked up literally in the last week. I am and it's not just music stuff, by the way. I do a lot of biographies. I've always been fascinated with biographies. I think that's my favorite kind of book. So here we go here, special collector's edition, Growing Up Brady from Barry Williams, of course, who is Greg. 50 cents for this. Now, Barry Williams lives actually at least part-time in the Branson, Missouri area. I understand, Tyler. It's okay. But he signed this one, but it's, of course, to a Rita. Here's the story. Barry Williams. This is actually the second or third autographed book of his I've come across, and I think it's kind of neat. If Barry does come out to do another show again of 70s music and Brady Bunch memories, go see him. It's actually very worth it. Debbie Reynolds here, Unsinkable, a memoir. Debbie Reynolds, let's face it, 50s, 60s, 70s, very popular, very, very popular back then. I did not know that Anne Murray wrote a book, All of Me. Here's the front, here's the back. Anytime I ever think of Anne Murray, I think of that I think it was Anne Murray, that there's a picture of her from 73 or 74 with the Hollywood Vampires, which at that time in the picture was John Lennon, Harry Nilsson, Mickey Dolenz, and I think Alice Cooper were all in a shot with Anne Murray. I thought that was kind of funny. Hey, here we go. Let's see, Walrus, what you got here? Good evening, guests. Good evening. Is The Who coming anywhere near you? Oh, no kidding. They're going to play Cincy for the first time since the Trampling. I'll tell you, I always felt bad for that. I, of course, grew up in Chicagoland, but I remember hearing about that on the radio, like early the next morning. WLS brought up about, I don't know if they at that time knew it was 12 dead, but they said that, there was the tragedy there. And I'm just like, and the thing is, the Who didn't even know about it until after the show was over. And that was supposed to be the death of festival seating, but I don't think so. I see that there's some shows that are still like that. But I would love to see Pete and Roger. Yes. Of course, obviously, if I had a time machine, I'd go back and see him in the late 60s, early 70s, or at least the Roger, Pete, John lineup. I'd love to see Thunderfingers. I was this close to seeing John live with a solo band. Well, I think it was the last solo tour he ever did for Entwistle. Always liked his work. So we're about halfway through the box here. So here's one that'll make you guys roll your eyes. Dustin Diamond, Behind the Bell. Yes, Screech. Screech from Behind the Bell. All this, I didn't even pay for this whole box, $6. And I know some people are going to be like, well, that's $5.99 too much. Maybe so. One of my favorite horror icons, Vincent Price, written by his daughter, Victoria, who was a mainstay on the horror con circuit for many, many years. Yeah, no kidding, right? And then lastly, 20th Century Drifter, The Life of Marty Robbins. I think I might have brought this up before, but that is the box of books that I have found within the last week. Let's see here. I'll throw this up for anybody. I said throw up. Very tragic incident. I am anxious to see Zach. Is Zach back on drums for the tour? I did not know that. I have never got to see Zach play live. I think that's going to be awesome if he gets to do that. Now, speaking of his dad, Ringo has gone off and announced dates for the next Ringo All-Star Tour, okay? If anybody saw the one back in 2018, it's just about the same lineup, except no Graham Gouldman, and instead special alumni guest Edgar Winter. So Edgar Winter will be on the All-Star Tour this year. Unfortunately, not coming anywhere near close to me at this time. Of course, that could change. When he showed up in 2018, it was a full house. Ringo was a full house. They crammed every spot in our outdoor venue was full. Okay, so maybe they'll get him again. I would go. So, all right, let's see. Album finds from today. All right. So even though the price stickers are going to be a little different than what I'm telling you, when I go into this place, there is if I check into the joint, there's at least a 10% discount. Sometimes they'll do 15, but it's 10. So I pretty much, I did good. This one here, I've had this before, but this is a little better copy. This is the Moody Blues. Very excellent Moody's compilation from back then. If you don't have this would be a nice start point for you guys, for our Moody Blues collectors, okay? Of course, it's a gatefold. I'll show you. I paid about, I think it came out to like $260 for this. That was not bad at all, I figure, in my opinion. But of course, like I said, you're talking about, Seven Sojourn, Every Good Boy Deserves Favor, Question of Balance, To Our Children's Children, On the Threshold of a Dream, Search of the Lost Chord, and then Nights of White Satin. So you have a lot of good coverage for that comp. This one here, I already had, but I'm going to probably use this as a bonus trade into the VC box. But Yardbird's Greatest Hits, my second copy. The one I own first is a very clean copy. But this one here, I certainly was not going to pass that up. Now, saying that, I was trying to be really nice. Well, to be honest with you, it was a resale shop. I picked these up this afternoon. Hey, Ethan. You know what, Tyler? I do not think so. I just simply think that it's just stuff from all the albums. That's what the comp is. That's a very good question. I'm surprised that they did not throw something else in there. But yeah, so I grabbed the greatest hits, but what I left on purpose, there was a copy of Having a Rave Up, which the reason why I left that there was twofold. Number one, there was a dude next to me that just came over to look at the albums too. And this is the first time in months since I actually found anything half decent in this box. And they upped the prices a little bit. They used to be 50 cents to $1. Now it's like anywhere from 50 cents to $3, depending on, I don't know who prices the shit over there, but it's like somebody back there must go, oh, this might do really well. Ooh, yeah, I don't know why I sounded like Floyd the Barber there. So this one here is a VC inside joke. Of course, we know what stream likes to use this guy, right? But for 50 cents, or excuse me, 44 cents, if you think I wasn't going to get this just so that I can have some shits and giggles with the Heine person, if you get my drift, for 44 cents, it was well worth it. This next one here, I've heard about him. I know there's a little bit of a dog ear in the corner. It was only 44 cents, so I don't give a shit. I've never heard this guy before. I've heard of him, but it's on Vanguard. Eric Anderson, About Changes and Things. Here's the front. Here's the back. And by the way, most of the vinyl is actually, I would say, anywhere from VG to near mint. Okay. Unfortunately, of course, due to the dog ear, this ain't no total near mint. But I heard he was one of the ones in the mid '60s, along that was in the class of Dylan. That I think he was Canadian, if I remember correctly, but I could be wrong on that too. That he tried to get somewhere, and it didn't really go very well for him. It just didn't. Okay, last two on the album stuff, anyway. Yeah, well, yeah. You know where I'm getting on that, Jeff. So this next one here, I could give two shits about the Manhattan Transfer coming out. That's the name of this album, by the way. Paid about 75 cents for this. So I know you're probably sitting here. Oh, here comes my first guest.
Hey.
Who was just on the other show that I just came from in the first place.
Hey,
yeah.
Paul.
How's it going, man?
I'm good, and you?
I'm all right. I'm just about finished wrapping up on the LP finds here. So
nice.
Here's the quiz for everybody. Tyler's going off and saying "Violets of Dawn." Is that one of the tracks on here you're trying to give me a hint on? I don't know, or maybe that's for something else Tyler's trying to do. So why would I have bought the 1976 Manhattan Transfers Coming Out LP on Atlantic Records? Anybody want to guess before I mention the answer? Here's the front. Here's the back. Because on two tracks on this album, playing drums is Ringo Starr, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. So Beatle plays two tracks on this album. And on one of the two tracks, who also happens to play piano on it, you ask? And even if you didn't ask, you're going to find out anyway. Dr. John. That's right. So Dr. John and Ringo perform on a track backing the Manhattan Transfer. Now,
Nice.
Yes, I saved the coolest album in the pile for last. I'll tell you something. I have two other albums from this awesome Detroit punk band. And I always was looking for this album. But I certainly, Eric Anderson had a bunch of Blue Ribbon. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Well, when I'll get to hear all that. So instead of the $3 that the label says here, I really only paid about $2.60. Ladies and gentlemen, I can finally say that I have a copy of the original MC5 Kick Out the Jams.
Oh, nice. You got that for $2.60?
Yes, and I'll show you. Here's the thing. I took a gamble because normally I do not. There is a scratch that is questionable here. Okay, but it's not deep. So I am hoping it will play through. But if you think I was going to leave this sit in a box for someone else to get it for $2.60, you got another thing coming, which that's a different band. But yeah, original OG MC5.
I mean, it's worth a gamble. Even if the record is shot, you could probably find a record because that cover's in decent condition.
It is. I was very happy about this. There's the only problem. There's just teensy weensy, but the rest of it is in nice shape. So yeah, that was my album finds for the day. Maybe in a little while I'll show the 45 finds after I ask how you. So all right, I don't want to. Okay. I guess as you were over there a little bit like I was over at Rachel's, there was some Sunday night drama that had nothing to do with the Super Bowl. No. And I missed it all. I always miss it all. Hey, JJ has got a question for you. Am I still allowed on the live streams? My intentions were never to hurt him. It was to give others a better understanding of this.
Nobody's mad at you, JJ.
How could anybody be mad at JJ? Jeff says hi, JJ. How can anybody be mad at JJ, ladies and gentlemen?
Right.
Just like how can anybody be mad? Really, at almost anybody else? Because let's face it, okay. As I have said before, The VC is high school for adults.
I agree.
Yeah, 8th grade too.
Richard sometimes likes to push buttons, and I try to like give him a little leadway because of his disability. There are sometimes he gets on my damn nerves about stuff, and that was part of my problem with last night. Like when all that stuff started, then I added, my problems with Richard on it, and I shouldn't have done that.
So pardon me for my ignorance. Like once again, I stated I wasn't on last night. I was busy. Did this all go down in HEK's stream?
No, it went on in Lisa's stream.
Well, like I said, this is the first broadcast I've done in 2 weeks. I have been busy. It's been a crossover between medical and personal. In fact, for my Valentine's Day, you want to know what my present was?
What?
It was called going to the local hospital to go get blood work drawn up for next week's doctor appointment.
Yeah.
Nothing says love like taking a vial or two of your precious. So that's what that was all about. Oh, man, oh, man, oh, man. Hello to all the 12 people that are here. I know I can never get Rachel's audience, and that's okay. I don't go out for that kind of stuff. I love going over there because it's fun at times. And yes, it can be drama ensued, drama mama type stuff. Pardon me a second. Pardon me, boys. Is this the Chattanooga Choo-Choo? I was trying to find. This'll teach me too. Did I? Where the hell did I put those damn things? You know what, Cap? Excuse me for a moment. Entertain the troops for a minute while I go find what I also wanted to show. Say something that's on your mind. Go ahead.
Yeah, JJ, I don't think he was mad. It's just, I think he was saying that the VC, when the rumor mill starts, it starts out as one thing. Like he said, he had bruised ribs. By the time it got back to Rachel, it was that he started it and had broken ribs.
What did I do with that stuff?
I don't think he was mad at you, though.
Normally, guys, I would be so prepared, but unfortunately, you know what, this will teach me. I must have damn moved him. Yeah, so I ended up, I'll show this for a laugh in a minute, but I ended up finding a bunch of 45s a few days back also. And I'll have to show them in another video because I don't know where the hell I put them. But it was 60s. It was 60s psych and soul. And I found a couple that Discogs doesn't even have an entry for. And like, okay, like there was a 45 called The Medicine Cabinet. That was the name of the band, The Medicine Cabinet. And the label was upside down, but that's because the printing said the song was called World Upside Down.
Oh,
okay. And I can't wait to listen to it because, like I said, it's got to be late 60s psych. So far, the best thing that I found in that batch of 45s, and a lot of them were white label promos, by the way, but the one so far that's the winner, and I paid about $1 a piece for each of these. I found and I'd say all the 45s were, once again, anywhere from about VG plus to near mint. I found a 1967 white label promo on Reprise of the Kinks Autumn Almanac. That was so far the key one, unless Medicine Cabinet turns out to be bet. Oh dear Lord. Yes, you little punster. You little punster. Yes, I know. Hello, Dave. I think if you're going to share something on the live stream, you had to be prepared for downstream impacts. My hand broken had me in the hospital, LOL. The rumor rolled downhill. Yeah, you just have to be polite and clarify things. And I think there needs to be more communication in the VC from everybody involved. I not VC related, but let me give you an example on something. So there's somebody that I used to hang with in 2020. That was the first time I met him. And then, after maybe hanging for a couple months, then there was silence for a few months, like close to 9 months. Next thing you know, they pop up in a text and I'm going, what the hell's going on here? And so we talked about it actually yesterday. And for some dumb reason, and we both take blame for this, we each thought the other was mad at us. That's why there wasn't any communication. And I said to her, I said, hey, I'm not going to lie. You seemed like you were pissed off the last time I saw you. And I'm like, and I just figure I must have done something. No, you didn't do anything wrong. Did I? No, you didn't do anything wrong. So all the air got cleared out. But you see what I'm saying? It's like if you don't clarify things at first and you air out the misunderstandings, it's going to fester. It's like a boil. See, that's an SCTV joke. It's like a boil. And we don't like that here. That's just life. It's not just here. Nobody wants that shit.
Right.
Mason, you're muted, and I didn't mute you. Maybe he might be back. But
yeah, your internet's good today, Paul.
It also could be true, and thank you. The truth is that I tried to do my broadcasts. I'm here in the dining room, sort of, okay? And when I was at Rachel's, I was in my bedroom, which is a little farther out.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes that's a difference, sometimes not. Oh, dear Lord. Let me see. I got to do this in Rodney Dangerfield. Hey, I'll tell you. Yesterday I was kidnapped by a mime. He did unspeakable things to me. Huh, no respect at all. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, LA fans, congrats to your Rams, and Cincinnati. Well, don't.
Okay, how about now?
That's what they were looking for.
You can hear me now.
I was rooting for Cincinnati. Yes. I think that the referees kind of fucked them over a little bit. They weren't calling like any penalties the whole game, and then all of a sudden, when it's down to the last fucking minute and a half, they decide to start throwing penalty flags like 4 times in a row.
What I was trying to say, Paul, before was that I experienced that communication thing quite frequently with people, especially Richard.
Okay. Hey, I'll tell you, you found Rappin' Rodney in the free bin, and no respect. It's free. No respect at all.
Hey, Cap.
What?
Valentine's Day may be the worst fucking holiday ever.
Why?
Now.
Because
no one's blowing out your candle, Mason?
Because time and time again, every year, I'm alone.
You're never alone. You got your right hand.
True. But that's more of a pleasure. I want something that actually means a lot, you know.
Taco flavored
Well, if you want something that means a lot, just draw lipstick on your hand.
Taco flavored kisses. Oh yeah. Hey, I got to do this since he threw this up there. Hang on a minute. I know he didn't expect that. This is your Valentine's treat, everybody. Hey, I'll tell you, Dr. Vinny Bootbott's my doctor. I went off and I asked him. I said, "Hey, Doc, how can I stop aging?" He gives me a gun. Hey, I'll tell you. No respect. No respect.
Hi, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen,
What?
one of the original members of Fab 4 VC,
Yes.
Mr. Jeff Kendall.
How you doing?
How are you?
Can't be better.
Jeff, did you hear me earlier?
I don't think so, no.
March 5th, which I think is a Sunday, it's a
Mhm.
50-50 chance at the moment, going to be at the Tulsa Record Show.
Oh,
That's the
okay.
goal. So
Okay.
anybody out there in Tulsa, Oklahoma, first record show I've attended since being down here in the Mid-South. So if you're near the
Yeah.
Tulsa, Oklahoma area, come meet the Mighty Psycho. I hope to maybe have some doling out of type stuff, but I ain't promising yet. And
Okay.
then at the end of March, there will be the Route 66 show in Springfield. So if anybody is in that, I will get, when it gets closer to time, I will mention that I'm at that Mighty Psycho. It'll be like the Mighty Psycho record tour, that record room.
Yeah, the Psychos
And
tour.
cue the violin music.
Now, see,
Or
Paul,
in
you need
the,
to
in the
do
words
what
of Rick Rude,
Joe,
music.
you need to do what Joe Mayo's planning on doing. Get the T-shirt. Get the T-shirt that says Psycho Splatters. What do you
You
think?
know, I have been knocking on that idea. I have been thinking about T-shirts and coffee mugs and stickers.
Yeah. Mhm.
That could be coming by the end of the year.
Sounds good.
JJ said, Mason, if you need someone to snow God to snow with, you know, JJ, I'll admit it here, ladies and gentlemen. I have not only Beanie Babies, I also have Build-A-Bears, but that was because my late wife
Yeah.
owned them, and they're in my
Yeah,
bed.
my wife had a bunch of those too. Yeah, the Beanie Babies. Yeah.
Oh God. Here comes the next one.
yeah,
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this
Now,
one
he
like Krusty, though. Hang on.
he did that
Here
on
comes
Doc's
Krusty.
stream yesterday. So, didn't you? I think
Here
so.
we go.
Okay, go ahead.
Hey! I once manufactured clown shoes. It was no small feat.
Yeah, that's about right.
Hey,
Steve.
Steven is March 5th is a Sunday. Then it must be, I apologize, it's March 6th. Because it is a Sunday.
Okay.
I double checked, so March 6th will be
Okay.
hopefully Tulsa, Oklahoma. I am led to believe there'll be 15 different dealers at the show. How many are there for vinyl? I don't know. Oh.
Well, we'll see about March.
Here is round one of a new game that I just came up with called Show a Piece of Shit Album. And it's not a game that I came up with, but anyways, this is round one of Show a Piece of Shit Album. I'll go first.
Oh, I was going to say it wouldn't be.
Oh, you got it on CD, huh?
Yeah.
Well, hang on.
I think maybe
I don't. My album's in the bedroom, man.
This is bizarre. Look, this is an album, a studio album from 1989, and read the last three selections.
Hang on a minute.
Oh man,
I'm a little behind in the enlargements today,
this is fun.
even though I'm not a developer.
I get around. Wouldn't it be nice in California Girls?
On an 80s studio album. So what happened was they ran out of fresh material and just threw those on there.
And they remade them, I bet.
No, they're the original.
originals?
Mm.
Oh well, that's easy. Yeah. No.
And lazy at the same time.
Try to sell records,
By-
I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this is not as much of a piece of shit album as the one that they put out after this.
Okay.
Mm.
That was
Why don't you tell me
Oh
about it?
God. Oh no. Don't
let's
bring
see,
that up.
it's got Mike Love rapping about girls.
Oh,
It's
God, I told you
got
to bring it up.
them covering Sly and the Family Stone.
okay.
Best Beach Boys album ever.
Thank you.
Get my coffee just a second.
Yeah, let me go. I'm gonna go grab that album actually. Show you guys the.
Oh God. Hey, I'll tell you. Here comes another one. I got making airport puns. My doctor says it's terminal.
This is the worst
Hey,
damn
no
hit
respect.
they've ever
Oh,
put out.
no. Oh,
I have that on LP,
you know,
Mason.
you're lucky.
Oh yeah, prove it. Go grab it.
You're lucky that I don't have my CD.
Because Cap, that was only
in a
pressed on
crate.
LP on a limited edition pressing in South Korea.
I got a boo in
Did
South
it go
Korea
gold?
that sent it to
Good
me.
Lord.
This right here, this is the worst damn thing they've ever put out. I mean, and look at this hideous looking cover too.
I think it's a nice looking cover. I like the cover.
Look at how stupid this cover looks.
It's not. That's not about. Hey, there ought to be a VC thread right there. Great looking album covers, shitty music. There
you
that'll
go.
be.
You're honestly
I'll
saying
make
that the
a
album
concept.
cover is more appealing to your eyes than the music.
Is that the
Then
one with
why-
Kokomo on
Relative,
it?
and it's not.
If
relative.
it's a shitty album, why did you buy it?
Mason,
I bought
is
it
that
because
the album with
I bought it
Kokomo
because
on
I'm
it?
a Beach Boys completist of
Oh,
everything.
okay. Okay. Case
I
closed.
gotta have every studio album they ever put out.
Mason,
Okay.
is that the one with Kokomo on it?
No, that would be this one.
Okay. Okay.
Because look right here. I don't know if you can see. There's a
Yeah,
glare.
that's the only album worth owning because
Right
John
there,
Stamos
track.
is the drummer.
Right there, track number 5, right there.
Okay.
And they
Like
all
I
this,
said, that's the only one worth owning.
and you know what track 6 is?
What?
No.
Wipeout with the Fat Boys.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's horrible.
Oh God.
Well, I've got
Wow.
that Beach Boys Greatest Hits CD, so there you go. You know, that's 27 singles. So yeah.
Really, Beans? The cut you don't actually think this
There you
cover
go.
looks nice? It's so cheap looking.
It looks like a Flipper episode. They call him
Hey, Beans.
Flipper. He's probably done another TV show.
Look,
Let's. I'm gonna name everything that they
Flip
cover on this
Podcast.
album that's not an original. They do a version of Hot Fun in the Summertime with 90s production. They do a remake of their own song Surfin' with early 90s production. They do an early 90s production cover of Remember Walking in the Sand. They do an early 90s production cover of Under the Boardwalk. And the biggest disgrace to Dennis Wilson, John Stamos singing a lead on Forever.
Okay.
Well, that's the best version of it.
with yogurt in his mouth.
Yeah.
Greek yogurt.
And what do you know? It was produced by Terry Melcher, who wasn't even a fucking Beach Boy at all.
No, he was a good record
He
producer.
was a good, he did some
See,
pretty good
Not
stuff.
for this, he wasn't.
Mhm,
Not for this, he wasn't.
mhm. Yeah, and I
Terry
understand.
was still- I didn't know Terry.
He did,
Yeah, those
Production.
first Bird
Around that
albums
time.
that you like, Mason, he
And
produced those.
and the later ones, a couple of later
Well,
ones
by
too.
the 80s, his production
Yeah.
skills were cheap.
Okay.
I should have memorized what I saw over at the Antique Mall where I found those 45s. I went to the regular album booth and he really didn't stock it up very well. There was this one Psych album from 67, 60. I wish I remembered the damn name, and it's not from the Moon, but it said on guitar David Mark.
Oh,
Going, holy crap. So he still was doing other stuff other than his band. So interesting. Because David Boy too, you got to throw him in there. I remember what was it? Myself in the ass for not going when it was Beach Boys Chicago mid-90s. It was Carl Wilson's last tour. He came through the Rockford Metro Center, but it wasn't the whole Carl tour, but it was like the last half of the Carl tour that Carl gave the blessing for David Marks to take over his spot. And so Carl and David and and whoever was in that mid '90s lineup was there, and then Chicago would have been a little bit better to see. I don't really want to see him now, to be honest with you. I still want to go to the Brian Wilson, Al Jardine, Blondie Chaplin opener for Chicago, but I don't think I'm going to stick around for Chicago. So it's like I'm hoping to win some tickets because the tickets are mighty damn expensive. And I mean, honest to God, that's the only portion I would stick around for is for Brian. And I might stick around for 1 to 2 songs just to see how this lineup sounds like. But I've heard 50-50. That's what I heard. Depending, it's like they have a lot of off nights in this tour, and I'm going, maybe they should have packed it in. I really honestly think that. But Danny Serafine has got that California Transit Authority that he's been running for the last God knows how long. And Jeff Coffey, who was the singer that replaced Chef Coffey was like only in like for literally probably a cup of coffee in Chicago. Him and Donnie Dacus, who he was on what was it, Chicago 14 and 15. So post Terry Calf, but before they went to Warner. He's in CTA 2 now, I guess. So it's quite interesting. Is it weird that I almost want to go see that instead of what Chicago is, which is Rob Land, the 2 horn players?
Yeah. Well, see what you want to see.
Exactly.
You said that day is you said March 6th, on Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, well, Tulsa is an awful long drive. I'll see you, but now March 5th, my girlfriend's doing my taxes. So the 6th, we'll see. We'll see what happens. So,
Well, it's 50-50. It's not solid right now, but I obviously can messenger you.
Okay, well,
I kind of felt bad the last. Yeah, the last time, I think it was like mid-January, they had a record show, right? And at the last minute, I had to back out. I was all ready to go. And unfortunately, a family emergency happened. And I'm, in a way, I'm glad that obviously I didn't leave town or I would have felt really, really bad. But I actually had Miranda Holter. I think that's their name.
I flipped it over the
She reached out to me.
Over the disc while I'm eating.
Okay.
Oh, there you go. And so with Shaggy Dennis, yes, Shaggy Dennis. Stephen Bean says I'd rather see CTA. Yeah, and then I'm not sure how true this is, Kev. But I thought I heard that there's a possibility down the line Bill Champlain may be joining that lineup also. So you're going to start having all the cast-offs. And I mean, and let's face it, one Sons of Champlain, I mean, he's been around a long-ass time. I honestly think that if it wasn't for Bill, doing his background stuff and the co-writes from the Warner Brothers Full Moon era, all the way till, a couple of years ago, I mean, he helped to strengthen the sound, of that era of Chicago. But yeah, it's like when Terry died, that was the start of it. And it's just like, so, the first 10 years.
What about when
Peter Cetera, when he got
what's his name?
Quit, fired, whatever. Huh?
What do you guys think about when Peter Cetera was in Chicago?
I didn't mind it. I really didn't. He's more sappy, but I like the songs. Him and Bill wrote those songs, most of them, seriously. So it's like, and with David Foster's production, because story went, and if I'm wrong on this, the story went that Chicago actually had a complete album finished in 1981. After they got out of their Columbia contract because they released them. So they took what the album was supposed to be the next for the label, turned it into Full Moon, and Full Moon was like, this whole album is a piece of crap. We do not hear a single. Try again. And that's how David Foster got involved, because Peter already knew David. Hope I'm getting my story straight, but I think that's what I remember reading. And so that's how they ended up getting their second win, in essence. And I bought 16, 17. I 18, when Jason came in. But after 18, I didn't buy them brand new. You're right, Dave. I didn't buy them brand new. I found like 19 was in the cutouts, 21 cutouts, and supposedly on YouTube, the story goes that not only was that the last album to have Danny Seraphine, I think, if I remember correctly, they said the production was shitty. There was like some screw up in the production. I think they were on Reprise by then. And supposedly on YouTube, there's a different produced Chicago 21, which I really would like to hear to see if it really would have made any difference. But
I'd like to know whatever happened. What happened to Peter Cetera?
So yeah,
is he singing jingles now or what?
So get this. Now I tripped on an excellent. There's an excellent show, and I'm sorry. Right now, I'm having my brain farts. Rock history with he's a Canadian. John. Damn it! I look him up, guys. You'll know who I'm talking about. This guy is a host in Canada. He does bunches of shows.
Yeah. So his name is John.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Sure. So the thing is, he had Peter Cetera on in a phone interview, and Cetera retired.
Okay.
He retired. I think it was in 2020. Retired because he said, the Coof hit, and he just realized that the wear and tear on him mixed with, he admitted, he said the money was not there anymore. And of course, the money wasn't there when the Coof happened because they started killing shows. But it was like he finally came to that self-realization. And let's face it, this dude's been around since 66. Because I think that's when The Exceptions came out, was in 66. You guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back in a minute.
Okay. Well.
Hey, Cap.
Hey, what?
How you doing, gorgeous?
Oh.
Yeah, that's just our thing. Like,
yeah, Mason, you couldn't handle me.
Well, I remember,
too much of a diva.
I was doing a live stream once, and Cap came on, and the first thing he said, what was it you said?
I don't remember.
It was like, have I ever told you something?
Knowing me, it was probably perverted and dirty.
It was. That's our thing. That's our joke.
That's just my type of sense of humor, I guess.
What do you guys think of like the mid-70s Chicago?
I liked Chicago. There hasn't been a time that I haven't liked them.
Well, they did in 1975. They did this song, and the Beach Boys actually sang backup for the song.
Yeah, wishing you were here.
But I don't hear it. All I hear is Chicago on the track. It's kind of buried.
Okay.
Well, that's like Shannon Hoon from Blind Melon doing backup for Guns N' Roses on the song "Don't Cry."
Yeah.
You don't hear him, you think it's Axl Rose, but the way that Axl Rose had designed it was that he wanted Shannon Hoon to match Axl Rose note for note, so nobody could tell the difference. That way it sounded like two Axl Roses.
Good old Blind Melon. They had 2 albums. Shannon was alive.
Now that Paul's back, I want to ask
see
him
the first
about this. Hey, Paul. What do you think
Okay.
about the Beach Boys backing up Chicago
Yeah.
on Wishing You Were Here?
I like it. I actually Wishing You Were Here is one of my favorite songs. But I mean, to be all honest with you, I like that song. But if I remember correctly, I think at least one or two of them are singing background on "Baby What a Big Surprise," and I always like that song. I sing along with that one when it's on the radio. I got a station that plays some of that Chicago stuff. They play a bunch of Beach Boys too. Actually, it's kind of funny.
Well,
They
didn't they do
usually
like
play
a tour?
the tip.
They did like a tour in 1975 together, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
74,
And
75, something
And they
like that.
both did television specials, I believe, didn't they? Chicago did one, and then the Beach Boys did one the year later.
Right. I seen
Yeah.
that 75 special. That's they were in
Yeah.
tuxes, aren't they? Or something.
Yeah.
I remember that. Seeing Terry in a tux. That was weird.
Yeah.
If you
Mhm.
guys have not seen the Terry Kath the autobiographical film from his daughter here on YouTube, I suggest go see it when you have some open time. I think you will love it. You will enjoy it. There's a lot of
Mhm.
nice footage that was never seen before, along with a hunt for a certain guitar. Did it pan
Oh.
out? You have to see the movie, see it.
Yeah.
But a lot of talking heads in that. They did get a couple Chicago members along with other related band people. So I thought what was really neat was the footage of Caribou Studios. Part of this isn't giving away anything, but part of it was Terry Kath's daughter, I think, along with her mother and some friends, drove to Caribou Studios on the last day because it was sold to a private owner that nobody's recorded, I think, since the mid 2010s. That's why you don't see Caribou Studios on anybody's thing, is because it's private land now. But I'm led to believe that they kept the studios the way as is. So I
Are we
mean,
talking
imagine
about
whoever
Caribou
owns that
Ranch?
damn. Yes. Yes. So I wish I would have loved to have seen that whole area. I can't remember where in Colorado is that.
Wouldn't know.
Yeah, CTA is a damn great guitar album. I'm trying to remember. That came out in, what was it, late 60, early 69 for Chicago Transit Authority. I'm trying to remember if it came out in mono is what I'm getting at. I would love to have a mono copy if there is a if Columbia put them out on that. Some of the albums that I showed earlier from my vinyl finds, which some of you guys came late to the game, I'm not going to show them all, but I will show you this one because I always want an OG MC5 kick out the jams for $2.60. Oh, but the ones that I left there was a Laura Nyro. The first, if I remember correctly, it was the first Laura Nyro because it had to do with, I think it was 13th Confessional or something. Now, I only started dabbling into Laura because, I mean, she did, from what I've heard, she's done really good work. I know she's long gone now, but the two albums that I also want to get, which is in the late 70s catalog of Laura, is I'm sorry, I don't remember the titles right now, but the guitarist is a Vinny Casano, aka Vinnie Vincent, 4 years before he joined Kiss. Vinny is a very decent guitar player back in the 70s. He was friends with Felix Cavalier of the Rascals. I don't know how those two ever hooked up, but I have got a Felix solo album where Vinny is on half that album, and he makes it sparkle a little bit. There is an album that I am looking forward to. If I ever, I'll be surprised. They did not make many copies of it, but Felix attempted to have a band called Treasure, and it was Felix and Vinny and one other person, and it was a cool looking album cover. But I am led to believe that they made only 50,000 copies, and that maybe half of them are promos. I don't care how I get it. I mean, I've heard some of the work on YouTube. You know, they deserve to be in the Rock Hall, okay? Although the Rock Hall of shame is what it really is now, because it's just getting into Tupac and Dolly Parton and Jay-Z and all that other shit. They have a Music Hall of Fame. No, don't, you know, if you're going to do that, have a Music Hall of Fame. That's it.
I think even the Beastie Boys are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
But anytime I hear Hall of Fame for the fight to right party.
Right. Anytime I hear Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, all I think of is Mike Love's very wrong speech. He's like,
somebody should have knocked him in the mouth.
Shit to be up here. He's like, Mick Jagger's too chicken shit to be up here, or something like that.
Well, there you go.
Mick should have.
No, you were talking about. You were talking about Laura Nyro. She wrote a lot of songs for other people. The other people did. She did a really good version of Wedding Bell Blues. It's better than the Fifth Dimension version. If you ever hear it, it's really good.
I say I've never heard Laura's version.
It's really good. It's a folkish version with harmonica, and you know, she has a pretty good voice. It's a shame she didn't have success, but she had success for other people.
What was the one song that Three Dog covered? Laura's too.
Eli's Coming.
I forgot.
Eli's Coming.
Okay, good. Yes, I love Eli's Coming. By the way, just throwing this out there for the 18 people watching in the panel in the Peanut Gallery. Yes, Dave, Rolling Stone magazine does suck. They haven't been decent since the 80s. Anywho, the Happy Together tour is commencing for 2022. Chuck Negrin from Three Dog will be there, along with the association that's 2 original members. The Cowsills, which will be 3 original members. The Turtles, which in reality is just, if I remember correctly, it's who's the one that ended up backing out because of his health issues? I want to say it was Howard that backed out.
Did Howard back out?
I don't know. One of those 2 did back out, and it looks like he's not coming back. So the second Turtle is actually Ron Dante from the Archies.
Oh, okay.
So he took over the other person's parts. And then the only tribute band of the whole night, and I don't understand why they're putting them on, is the Vogues. There is not one original member of that band and not one member that was on any of the Vogues records. Phone call
somebody. Now you need to find the American Masters program about David Geffen, because Laura Nyro was his first client.
Really? Did not know that.
Yes.
Isn't that the guy that started Geffen Records?
Yeah. He started Asylum Records and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, David Geffen. If you find the American Masters, he talks a lot about Laura Nyro.
Nice. See, I don't really care for David Geffen. I have heard a lot of slimy shit about this man, at least from the 80s on. Okay. And what I mean by that is that when we're going to talk about we're going to touch on a couple people that we're talking about as far as for David Geffen is concerned, that nobody are big fans of the man. One, of course, at first, John Lennon and Yoko Ono appreciated the candor that David Geffen did. He did something none of the other label heads did, and accepted both of them, and accepted, the album as it was. Okay, so because of him, we got Double Fantasy. But I guess between the time that Lennon was killed and obviously Milk and Honey, because Milk and Honey came out on Polygram? Polygram.
Yeah, Polygram, I believe.
And it was supposed to be on Geffen. And there was some falling out or some shit and between Yoko and Geffen. And there was bad blood there. Then you've got the bad blood between him and Cobain.
Oh yeah.
There was some shit with that. Then you have the bad blood supposedly between him and Axl. And then lastly, the one story that I thought that was kind of amusing in a way was the Neil Young story in regards to the Geffen run of solo
his
albums.
unlistenable albums. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Electronics.
I guess
yeah.
What started it, I am told, and I could be wrong on this, so somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but supposedly after the first album that Neil did, what I cannot remember, guys, was Trans on
Trans
Geffen or Retreat?
Yeah, that was the electronics album.
I liked that damn album, though.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Sample and Hold. That's like my favorite song off of there. I even liked the Buffalo Springfield cover he did. I liked that damn album. And they aired the videos. Now, this is the one thing about MTV. Geffen did put the videos out. There was at least one video, if not more, for every album
I remember that. Mm-hmm.
Because I wouldn't have known because nobody ever played any of those songs. Okay.
Yeah, you might. There's a best of that's out called Lucky 13 that's got selections from those unlistable albums. So it's probably the best one. He did one of rockabilly, and he did a couple of country records, and
right.
Yeah.
But supposedly Geffen went off and said to him, I think it was after the Trance album.
Yeah.
What? I don't hear a single. Why can't you do another? And see, when anybody does this, when any label head or an A&R says this to an artist, they immediately shut off and it's a fuck you thing. So supposedly Geffen said to this extent, Neil, I don't hear a single. Well, can't you just write another Old Man or Heart of Gold? And then Neil got pissed. He's like, he said, fuck you. He didn't say, but he's like, I'm going to get this fucker. And so every album was different. This was why. It was intentional. Now,
an album of blues.
I remember the music video for Wanderin'. Neil Young and the Shocking Pinks. I think that was the name of the band.
Slick back hair. I remember it.
I did not mind Wanderin'. I actually liked that damn song. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm trying to remember, was he on Geffen for This Note's for You?
Yeah.
Okay. That got airplay. That was the only Geffen track that got airplay. Neil, okay, Zeb saying, and hi from Norway, sir. That
Landing on Water too.
Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. I have zero Neil Geffen. Only because I haven't come across any. I have a lot of his 70s reprise stuff, but I don't have any of the other things.
Yeah.
What's the Tom Petty song? I'm confused. I'm sorry, Ollie. Can you clarify?
Don't know.
But so Geffen had a shit ton of people that were pissed at him.
Oh yeah.
And I'll remember, though, this is alleged, ladies and gentlemen, because I know some people are going to go, wait a minute. But supposedly there's another version of the Cobain murder out there that because it had to do with the Insecticide album. And Cobain, I think if I remember right, he wanted out of Geffen. I don't know if he was going to break up Nirvana, go solo, I don't know, whatever. But he wanted out of Geffen. And of course, the rumor goes that David Geffen, through another party, but communicated with Courtney Love, said, hey, we can do this. Now, and I know some people are going to go, oh, great. So this is another alternate story that Geffen supposedly, through another party, possibly could have arranged for the suicide to happen. Courtney Love either was in on it or knew it was going to happen, and so did Dave Grohl, because that's how Dave, Foo Fighters, Geffen Records, Courtney Love, Hole, Geffen Records. Before then, right? I mean, I know that Live Through This was released on Geffen, and Kurt was still alive. And if I remember correctly, he basically wrote half that damn album. And so that's why, to me, in my opinion, Courtney Love is a no-talent hack. I never would have said that to Jessica when she was alive, because she was a big Courtney Love fan. She loved Kurt too, but she liked both of them. And I'm going, I never understood Courtney Love's appeal. Sorry.
Yeah.
Hey,
now, basically, when he, I'm sorry, when he did Asylum Records, he was doing some pretty good artists, because he got the Eagles and Jackson Browne, and he got Linda Ronstadt, and then I believe he persuaded the Byrds to do an album on Asylum, but then he even got Bob Dylan for a couple albums. So he was doing pretty good with Asylum in the 70s.
Jeff, I'm glad that you brought up Dylan.
It's so dark out here. I'm just like Jeff now.
But you don't have a comb. You don't have gray hair, though.
But my setting is like yours.
Yeah. Now go ahead, Paul.
Glad you brought Dylan up. Let's bring up a little trivia for 2 seconds about Bob Dylan in regards to some of ivermectin. Yeah, I know that. Yes, the sarcasm cuts through, but you know what? I see. This is the thing. I never trusted Dave Grohl to begin with. Seriously, I like those first couple Foo Fighters albums, but ask me when the last time I bought a Foo album. I mean, I did do a review for Concrete and Gold, but and yeah, McCartney was on it, but so what? It was not a great album. So the thing is with Dylan. So yeah, the Asylum with Planet Waves and was it called Before the Flood? Was the live album with him?
Those two. Yeah.
I thought it was some really good material. Okay, but that even happened was basically Dylan tried to pull a fuck you to Columbia, because they were like, there was a bunch of shit, but nobody really remembers when Dylan was we're talking like file card with so close in 1968 to being an artist for MGM Records. He was that close. In fact, so close that the MGM promotional department, there is a catalog or some type of internal memos that said coming in the fall of 68, and Bob Dylan's picture was on this official company. So imagine if he jumped to MGM in 68 and threw out their John Wesley Harding. I don't, or Nashville Skyline. I mean, would that have still happened over at MGM? Because MGM, of course, was more known by that time to be bubblegummy and all that other stuff. Foo Fighter were never on Geffen. Okay, I apologize. The first couple albums were through Capitol, then they went to RCA. My bad. But, I still could have sworn I remembered saying something about maybe David Geffen promised Grohl a deal somewhere. Because we're talking about now, Cobain's murder was in 94. And I do not remember how long the Geffen label, because it went to WTG, I think is what they called it. I remember coming across some strange 90s bands under that moniker. And see that Groovy, that's funny, but there's going to be a surprise at the end of the video. It may not be necessarily a good surprise, but you'll find out why I named it that. And of course, today, ladies and gentlemen, happy VD Day. If you choose to clap as a present or crabs or whatever, is crabs even existent anymore, ladies and gentlemen? Maybe
Valentine's Day. Fuck
maybe
it.
at home.
The worst holiday ever.
Oh,
Oh,
Mason, I'm 61 years old. If I can get a girlfriend, anybody can.
It's exciting. Oh God, should I do it now? Oh God, let me get some more coffee in me before. I'm glad you 20 people are here because I think I will do it now, just to be silly, because we all need some silliness.
Yeah, we do.
way I want it to.
We'll go crazy.
Yeah, because it's Valentine's Day. Let's see if I can do this really well. Okay, so don't all run off on me.
Okay.
We're gonna try to
And
do
one,
this here. Hang
and
on.
a two.
No kidding, right?
Yeah. What was that?
Love, it's exciting and new. Come aboard. We've been expecting you. And what if the sweetest reward? Oh, the VC Love Boat. Soon we'll be making another run. The VC Love Boat promises something for everyone. Set a cruise for adventure, your mind on a new VC romance. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. For everybody
Happy
out there.
Valentine's Day.
The VC Love Boat.
Boat.
Yes,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
The
There you
VC
go. Hey. Okay.
Yay.
I would like to make
that. The VC Love Boat.
Go ahead. What do you like to say?
I really butchered that shit. Tried
Hold
to
on.
time it, it didn't work.
Hold on a second.
The original ending to
Okay.
that was going to be, if you wanted to hear it, even Dolan gets a girl at the VC Love Boat.
If I may, I would like to offer something that might be dumber than that. Oh well, let's
As long as I don't get no copy
let's
strike.
get it on by
I
Marvin
keep my
Gaye.
things on.
Yeah.
Let's get it on. Amazon.
Is it VC sexual healing?
Oh, my girlfriend likes that
All
song.
right. That's enough.
Alexa, shut the fuck up, you stupid bitch.
Oh. Man.
We're getting angry, aren't
He's
we?
young. He's young. It's okay. It's okay.
You know, I remember when I was 21, young, dumb, and full
Me
of fun.
too.
I remember.
I can say that to her because she's nothing more than a computer.
Okay. When
I
I
would
was
never say-
21, I
I would
was
never
a
say that to a
DJ.
real.
What about
human
that sex
being.
hologram later? May
Uh-huh.
not come on.
I was a disc jockey when I was 21. So, yeah. Long
Uh,
time ago.
God,
Uh-huh.
unfortunately, I wish I could have said that, Jeff. I think
Yeah.
it took until
Hmm.
okay. I don't think I ever told anybody this story. The first time that, yeah, you said Dolan, his name will get you a copyright strike. The VC,
Yeah.
most likely. You missed him, Dusty. He was on earlier, not on here on the Peanut Gallery. So, when I ended up, because I told you about the little man and the radio story from when I was a kid, but
Yeah.
in the early '90s. I used to belong to the JCs. That's a civic organization. I don't even know if it's still around anymore. Okay. I know the one that in the town I was in, it died like about early 2000s due to lack of interest. Go figure.
Yeah.
So I would say this was like 92, 93. The JCs would take over the radio station. It was WMCW AM stereo 1600. Yeah. AM stereo, I said. They spent the money for that shit. Anywho,
Yeah.
so we took over the radio station for the whole afternoon, and everybody got an hour. So there'd be like 3 of us. And we did bring some vinyl, but guess what? They couldn't get the damn turntables. So we had CDs, of course, for backup stuff. And I had fun. I that was the first time that I was on the radio, with the exception of trying to win contests in the 80s. And I just loved it so damn much. And that whole hour went by like that. And I'm like, I got hooked.
We did the same thing. But see, at my radio station, they had these guys like doctors and lawyers. Come to Joe's Crab Shack for, that kind of stuff. I said, shut up.
I was appropriate on VC talking about Crab Shacks.
Yeah. I'm just saying whatever, And these guys, I was stuck in this. We had a camper. We stick the turntables in there, and it was kind of a radio station on wheels. So we take the remotes.
I can't remember. Did you say you grew up in OKC all your life?
Till 69.
Charlie Tuna?
He was a little bit before my time.
Oh.
He was in the early 60s, I think. Because Charlie Tuna may have been on KOMA, but I listened to the station.
Charlie Tuna was in the 70s and 80s.
I think he was in the 60s too.
Charlie Tuna was in the 60s in Oklahoma.
I think he was in KOMA, because the other station across town was called WEKY, and that was
now on the VC Looovvveee. I don't know what Kevin's part would be. Would you be Isaac?
The Love Boat.
I could bob my head. That's right.
I had to. Yeah. I've had that. I've had that since yesterday in my noggin to sing it so badly.
And love won't hurt anymore.
Yes.
Now, anybody
it's a friendly smile on an open shore.
Whoever's on my Facebook feed, did you see what I did? I think it was a couple days ago, and it was like somebody else did this, but it was about 3 minutes long, and I said the trailer for the sinking of the Love Boat, mwahaha, and it was all these celebrities that you normally would not be seeing that were being shown. One of the creepiest ones, of course, looking back on this, and it turned out it was his last televised appearance when Bob Crane was on the Love Boat. And I'm like, it's on YouTube. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Right before
a little creepy. It's just the Bob Crane segments. But I'm just like, what was it? I was in the Walmart the other day.
Creepy.
I was in Walmart the other day, and somebody was buying a camera tripod, and I'm serious. This is what I said.
Thinking about,
you know where this is going, and but I only said it because I knew the guy could catch the reference, and I said, "Oh, excellent! You're getting the high quality Bob Crane model," and of course they lost it. Yeah. And I'm like, wait a minute, let's clean off a little bit of that brain part right there on me.
Yeah. What did the customer say?
The customer was, this wasn't my store. I was in another Walmart. They were laughing their ass off, and I'm laughing too. I wouldn't try that shit in my store. No.
See that's a reference that would be lost on like 98% of the population,
He's been gone since the 70s. He died, got killed when I was in high school. So nobody knows who he is, Oh, monkeys. I used to have one of those.
An original 1968 from
I used
Brooklyn,
to have one of those.
I was gifted
I left one mine in the garage, and my dad ran over it. Flat as a pancake. That was a long time ago. So
no, that's a Head East album, but we'll talk about
that. I was going to say, no, that's Head East.
50 years ago, man. 68.
I love you guys. See, you guys just keep it. Boy, I'm so far behind in the peanut gallery here. I'm not even going to click them all here, but let's go back a minute. Ivor says, things we don't talk about on Valentine's Day: Crab Shacks, clam bakes, and Charlie Tuna. Groovy Lisa says, love won't hurt anyone. Steven Schnee says, Mason's thinking of Charlie Tuna on the Star Kiss commercials. That's right, kids. That's right, kids. Star Kissed with tuna-free dolphin. Of course, Dave off and gives us the joke. Hey, last night I got kicked off a flight for sleeping. I slept in the nude. Oh, damn you! Now I'm singing that, Beans. That's right. That's why I put it up there.
Yeah.
Pilmer, yes. Miss You is now in the Psychoplatter Network from Pilmer's show. Excellent little show. I am trying to gather up my musical instruments. I cannot. He is the master of the wet arm fart. I never could do that. I can just do stupid shit like.
Yeah. I can do it. If
I could never do the.
Yeah.
Never.
I have to be real sweaty, and then I can do it a little bit. I have to sweat like a son of a gun, and then I can go. The fun thing about it is when I was at the radio station, I'd go in the production room and go fart, and put it in echo, and it goes.
Oh my God! Okay. Whoever watches Family Guy, when it comes to really bad radio, the little clip of Stewie and Brian doing "Dingo and the Baby," and it's like that whole
Dingo and the Baby.
And I'm going every time I come across that, I'm like, oh my God, that's really how radio is. It's like it's like I don't know. So
and didn't they take over on Family Guy? Didn't they take over for Weenie in the Butt? Remember Weenie in the Butt?
Oh,
Weenie in the Butt.
Yes, my son used to watch Family Guy. Yeah.
Here comes my bad imitation. Hang on a second.
Okay, go ahead.
Shut up, Mag. There, that's it.
Yeah,
that was spot on.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Quagmire, is that another blow-up doll?
Can you do the laugh? Do the laugh.
What?
Do the laugh.
Yeah.
Ollie brings up Love Hurts Roy Orbison. Dusty is singing Love Boat also. Ivor says, Ollie, one thing for sure, love stinks. Yeah. Jay Giles MTV.
Oh, yeah, that one. Okay.
Was Love Stinks, along with Come Back,
Baby.
Yeah.
That whole album is damn good.
That was a great album. Yeah.
There's there's a band for you.
And the next album was pretty good too.
Yeah, let's face it. Love Stinks. What was the one before that or after that? Sanctuary.
Oh, I thought it was Centerfold.
That and
Centerfold.
Then Freeze Frame, Centerfold.
No, Freeze Frame. Okay, yeah, because in Oklahoma there was a bunch of ladies that didn't like Centerfold because they thought it was, obscene.
Yeah.
That was 1981.
They did Freeze Frame, and then they did that live album, and then Peter Wolf was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is sad because it's like they could have, and let's face it, they were around since 67, 68.
Yeah.
Way.
15 years in that lineup. And then, Peter had to leave. And look at him. How far did he get? Lights Out, Crash. That's it. And then this I didn't know until...
Come As You Are was pretty good, though. Like, from his second album. Like, he had a top 15 hit, Come As You Are. Which is great.
Wait. Come As You Are by Nirvana?
No, by Peter Wolf.
Peter Wolf.
So let's see. The panel should change their names to characters from the Love Boat. I'm Captain Stubing with a bad toupee. There you go.
I'm Isaac.
There you
I'm the yeoman purser guy, whatever his name is.
Oh, Fred Grandy.
Yeah, he became a senator.
Gopher.
I'm Gopher.
His name was Gopher, yeah.
His name was Gopher. But he used to make out with the pretty girls, so,
And then he ended up being a senator. I think he was a senator or a House of Representatives.
Yes.
Yeah, he was a senator.
And remember what was on after the Love Boat? Welcome
Fantasy Island.
Fantasy Island.
There we go.
Mm-hmm.
See, another show that it was so hokum. The one
With
that made me
Corinthian
laugh.
leather. Yeah.
Do you remember the episode where Rodney McDowell is Satan? I'm like, are you kidding me? You're expecting. Oh, I'm scared. And I like Rodney McDowell. Which quick backtrack to Rodney. Roddy, excuse me. Fright Night. Great movie. That was the last Jay Giles studio track. Because I didn't even know that they were on that soundtrack. They did one more song after that strange album, You're Getting Even While I'm Getting Odd, which it sat in the cutout bins. Oh my God. I think I paid 99 cents on cassette for it. That's what I did.
Fright Night was their first post Peter Wolf song.
Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty much last.
On the Love Boat, there was an episode and Dorothy Stratton played a prostitute. She just did 2 or 3 more
She
things.
didn't stretch very far.
No, it was on ABC. But she did a couple of movies, and of course, she was murdered.
That part's not funny, but yeah, Star 80. I remember that movie.
Mm-hmm.
See, the thing is that, let's see, I was 13 by 1980. That's when I started. I started reading certain mags of an adult nature. Was 1980, and believe it or not, I got away with this with my parents. Hang on a second. It says here, Dusty says, I call it Pantazi Island after Nick.
Well, see, in my house, Paul, my dad used to subscribe to Playboy, so I could. My dad go to bed, and I go in the bedroom. Jeff, what are you doing? Nothing.
Yeah, so here's the thing, right? So we're talking 81. It was January, not January 81. I think it was
21.
April 81. April 81. And I knew somebody that worked at 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
oh, okay.
And I said, because I was only, I wasn't even 14 at the time. And I said, hey, I want that Playboy, please. Well, I can't. And I pushed the money and I said, I get it, but I really want it for the Lennon interviews.
Yeah.
I did. I told him that. And he laughed and I'm going, I'm very serious here for once. I said, here's the money. And I knew, I always saw him during the week. I'm like, here's the money. Please put it in a brown paper bag and just when you can get it from. And I ended up getting it like 2 days later. And I remember my dad went off and he found that damn thing and he actually was getting ready to chew me out. I said, okay, I don't expect you to believe me. He goes, but I actually am reading the Lennon interview, which is very fascinating. All right, well, why don't you tell me something? He was trying to get me on this. And I spit out something from that damn interview. I said, it's in the first couple pages. Go read it.
Okay.
And he did. He read it and he goes, all right. And he gave it back to me. And I'm like, I rarely ever bought nudie mags. And if I remember correctly, there was a second one, a part 2 that Playboy did of those interviews. And I bought that one. I think it was later that year. So yeah, I was 14 by then. And then the one I really wish I could have got, if I, of course, Beatle collectors are going to go, oh boy, to this, if you remember.
The 65.
1980. Well, yeah, I wasn't going to go there, but 1982.
Swank.
We magazine.
Oh, okay.
I had a short article about the 20th anniversary because that was when they put out the quasi-legal Decatape issue.
Yeah.
I can't remember who the hell tried to put it out. And we had an exclusive. They said, we have a 45, and it was a legitimate Beatles 45 on the We label. You sent your money with the coupon from the magazine.
Oh, okay. And it wasn't broken?
And the 2 tracks were from the Decca sessions.
Oh, okay.
On the We Records label. And I'm like, they did not make that many of them. And so I don't know if anybody really knows about that. Now you know. You want to be a completist, go try to find it, because I heard it hard to find.
I don't remember. 82. Yeah.
See, I remember being like 13, 14 years old, like going to flea markets and anywhere for like Beatles stuff. And I remember like I'd go through like boxes of Playboy magazines, and the people would be like, my mom's like, he's looking for the Beatles one. Like he's
yeah.
Was that 65? Didn't they did
a
65? 66, right?
Yeah.
66 too, I think. I don't know. The last one that I looked for, and I looked for it for a friend of mine, seriously, but of course I looked at the pictures first before I gave it to him. Huge. He was a huge Wendy O. Williams from the Plasmatics fan, and she was in a 1986 issue of Playboy. And if I remember correctly, it was either the next month or later in that year. Mary Ellen Walton. So whoever played Mary Ellen Walton caused a big stink by being a Playboy, and that's how she ended up off the show for like the reunion movies. That's how she got back in. But
Now,
for the rest of the run, she was banned.
I thought the other girl did some of that kind of stuff too. The actress who played Erin. Didn't both of them?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll tell
thought
you
she got a
this.
boob job or something when she did some stuff too.
They always did that back then.
I guess they did. Yeah.
So here's the thing. So real quick, Dusty Spin. What am I without you, Lisa? Groovy Lisa says, good question. Ivor says, I'm so lost without you.
What is it?
I'm all out of love. I'm so lost without you. Groovy Lisa says, I know you were right believing. Oh God, here we. So they're singing it along. That's the next lyric. Yes, that's right.
So, what song is it?
All Out of Love.
Air Supply.
Oh, no. Every Supply song sounds the same. You know.
My favorite.
Except for Lost in Love. The rest of them are all like they're all Barry Manilow. You know, like everything.
Will Ferrell, Chris Kattan. Behind the scenes, Supply on SNL, and they get so close that they start making out. And I yelled at the TV screen. I go, "I knew it! I always knew it!" And I'm like laughing while this whole thing is going. And like for some reason, you could tell they were like tonguing each other. I'm going, "Oh my God, the things you do for comedy! I don't know."
I'm glad I missed that one.
In a bar call that was topless and bottomless. There was nobody in there.
So was that in the 90s?
What?
Hey, was that in the 90s? Those two guys doing
for what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The 90s.
I was married by then, so I'm saved. Okay, I was okay.
Oh God. Ivor says, do you prefer Tainted Love? Do taint love? Of course, I like that song, but Gloria Jones originally did it in '64. Gloria
Jones, yeah. Mark
Boland.
Yeah.
Last wife.
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. He was driving the car and smashed into that tree.
Oh man, what a loss, man.
Yeah, no kid. That was a stupid death. That really was. That was a stupid death. And then we'll go backwards to another England car crash of Eddie Cochran. That was another stupid death that we didn't even cause. So Dusty says, it's like, what is it? Are you all out of love or lost in love? You can't be both. And Lisa says, Jeff is love in love. As I would say with a lot of madness, it must be love, love, love.
Well, Lost in Love was pretty good. All Out of Love, No.
But remember, love, sometimes love is only sleeping.
She looked at me.
Do. So I have not gotten into Sandoval's book yet, but somebody threw a fact that I thought was quite interesting. And I wonder why I like the song even better. So the original 1968 version that has been put on, I think it was, wasn't One of the Missing Links, was it? I can't remember. So the original Mommy and Daddy with the Who Killed JFK, we take all those pills.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's been figured out that it wasn't just Mickey on that version. Peter Tork played the bass line, and I'm going, that made me even feel better to know that those two were at least in cahoots on this song. And I'm just like, gotta have some Peter love. That didn't sound right. That's what it is. You know, I really thank you guys for being on here tonight. I had to do this. Valentine's Day is a day that's kind of overrated. I don't remember when the card company started the bullshit, but if you love whoever you love, you treat every day like it's Valentine's Day. Now that doesn't necessarily mean like, okay, I had somebody recently go off because they asked me what I was going to do for Valentine's Day. And I said, I hate to say this, nothing. Because to me, I said what I said. Every day should be Valentine's Day to who you love. And back then, that answer, I guess, wasn't quite good enough. They thought I was being a Scrooge, per se. And I'm like, no, I was being honest. And then to top that off, I'm sorry, but everybody jacks the prices up a couple days before Valentine's Day and the day of Valentine's Day. And I'm like, you know what? Even when I was with girlfriends or married, I said, we're not going anywhere on Valentine's Day. I said, I'll take you a couple days before. We're going to pretend that this is Valentine's Day. And they understood because we were under the same financial pocketbook. But now I have to quickly go to what Ivor said. Love is the drug that I'm thinking of. Oh,
Yeah. That's a good song.
Love is the drug for me. I am thinking about James. Love. Are we talking about Panamint Patty or his chair Enterprise? I'm not sure. Explain, JJ, please.
I got a screen recording of James doing something pretty sweet for Panamint Patty.
All right.
For those well, I just thought it was pretty sweet of him to do that for her.
Oh, you don't have the okay.
No, I have the recording.
Was it another poem?
I have it.
Oh, well, play it, please. I'm
authority. Please, it's not the right way to say.
Well, you know what? He's a polite, despot.
Let's have a precursor to tomorrow with a little love song.
Hold on a second.
No, we don't need the music. Okay, let me do my thing. My whole life through.
Now, James, if you're listening out here, I thought this was really sweet of you to do.
Just loving you.
You're a good man, James.
Summer, springtime too. Loving you makes no difference where I go or what I do. Hey, you know that I'll always be loving you. Just you. If I'm seen with someone new, don't be blue. Don't you be blue. I'll be faithful. I'll be true. Always true. True to you.
This is a notification.
There is only one more thing, and you know who. And you know that I'll always be loving you.
I saved that screen recording for one reason, because I really think that was a nice gesture from James to do that.
It was nice. It was very nice.
Yeah,
it was nice. I like James. I hope that
what do you sing? Elvis, I think that was.
Yeah, Elvis. Yeah.
Elvis song.
Yeah, very nice, James. If you get to see this, very nice. Thank you, Mason, for sharing that.
He's just such a nice guy. You can't help but love the guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a mean bone in that man's body.
He's full of good intentions.
Mm-hmm.
And chalky milk. Mm-hmm.
Chalky
Oh,
Wilkie.
boy.
that's true.
You do not need two, one nagging, one bitching is enough, and I do not want to double down on that. That's what's called what's that? Big Love on HBO if it's still on. All those Mormon marriages. I hope Mason don't have me singing. Oh boy.
I'll tell you what. I haven't even kissed or even talked to a woman in like 2 years and 5 months now.
I'll do you one better, Beans. I've never kissed a woman, period.
Well, yeah, you do want to kiss a woman, period. That'd be very disgusting. Then you'd have to use like wipes afterwards.
That's how you're
literally. No, I mean I've never. Baby. I've never even kissed my own mother.
No,
the reason for that is because I'm kind of a germaphobe when it comes to kissing. Like, I don't know.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, I'm going to break the ice yesterday. So there you go.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I can't discuss right now.
Okay,
About
we'll discuss
it.
Discuss it amongst yourselves. I feel for Clem.
Okay, it's okay.
Okay,
Oh,
Paul,
man.
Paul, do you want to see something kind of cool, but not really? Because nobody knows about it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure, hang on. I'm going to make you big.
I found a promo shot from a band I was in back in the late 90s called The Squish.
Ooh.
And
I like that. I like that name already.
Look at that guy there in the corner. That was Beans in 1997.
Ooh,
I love it. I love it.
You don't look much different than Beans from 2018. And what I mean by that is Marley Rose Beans.
Yeah,
Did the Squish ever make a CD single?
We recorded an album that went unreleased.
It's on D8.
And then when he got with his other band, Marley Rose, he
then
played
we did Marley Rose
backing
thing,
vocals for everything, and they put out an EP.
Yeah, I played bass back then because this guy here came in on drums because we needed a bass player, and I'm like, well, it'd be easier to find a drummer because we know Jeremy, and I'll switch to bass. And he ended up he played drums on the first two Breaking Benjamin albums. And so,
oh wow, I remember Jeremy. One time he bit the recess lady's breast. How could I forget?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he hit me with a surprise laugh.
Yeah. We want to hear the album, Bean.
But no, so that's my brush with greatness. Like I was in a band with somebody who went on to play on a platinum album.
That kicks ass. But we still want to hear the Squish album, there, Beans. We got to.
Oh, I will talk to the guitar player because I know he has all our shows he recorded and rehearsals and everything.
And you need a YouTube channel, Beans, and you can put it on your YouTube channel.
I do need to start something.
You got to be starting with something.
If you were to do that, technically, since you were a part of this band, would you have access to upload your Marley Rose content if most desired?
Oh yeah. I don't think that would be a problem at all.
Because the other guys in the band would be like, "Hey, he was the drummer for this band. Of course he's got rights." Or really, actually, the record company's got rights.
Yeah, well, I actually me and the lead singer and guitar player have been writing stuff again the last few weeks. After 10 years, we got back together and we're working on new stuff. So.
They got this. I'm going to give a little bit of a shout out here. Bean's last band, Marley Rose, they've got this one song off this EP called Unraveled. It's basically their take on a metal track. My God, it's good. Go check it out if some of you are into metal music.
Yeah, it's a pretty good out of the five. It's definitely my favorite.
Well, I expressed desire in wanting to listen to it because you're kind of my VC friend on here, and I want to support your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, like it's I'm really hard on it sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that's all shit. It's all shit. Like, like I could have done this better, but like, I mean, with those Marley Rose tracks, I mean, they were recorded in my basement by like 4 guys who were like drunk and high off their asses, like, you know, with a 16 track like recorder, you know, like just banging out these originals.
I just think among other things, it's really cool where the inspiration for the band name came from. It's really cool that you chose that for the band name.
Yeah. Yeah, it was my daughter's name.
Please. I'd like to hear that myself. Oh, that was why. Okay.
Yeah, that was my daughter that passed away at 4. That was her first and middle name. Wow. So named the band Marley Rose.
That is wonderful. Seriously.
But yeah, we have there's 5 tracks from an EP we did that we self-released, and there's like 3 more songs from a radio show we did, college radio show we did.
See, you got an album right there.
Yeah, right there. Oh, plus there's at least like 6 or 7 other songs that we recorded that like I'm looking for and I can't find.
Unraveled and 6 Men are pretty good, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need to at least hear a track or 2 when you got time. I would like to hear that. I was
in a band for play it on YouTube.
2 months. 2 months. I also attempted bass very horribly. The band was called Last Exit, but that didn't a cool name, but we didn't get anywhere. And then I can say that another part of my bucket list is done. This goes back to, good Lord, late 80s. I still can write good song lyrics. I can do a whole set of song lyrics in about between 5 to 10 minutes. I can do the chorus, hook, chorus, that kind of shit. I can do all that. I still do it when I get the inspiration. But the thing is that I hooked up with this guy named Devin Michaels, and Devin Michaels, he was a Chicagoland legend, so to speak, a hair guitar legend. He for 2 seconds he was in Enough's Enough.
I love Enough's Enough. They've always been great.
Yeah, and when CC DeVille got booted out of Poison, but before they got
Blue Saraceno,
right?
Or Richie Cotton. No, Richie Cotton, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was in the. I remember he was in the running, and he was a little bit miffed that Richie got it, but I'm like, you know what? It probably was best anyway for you, and so he finally, because he originally put it out on cassette. I had a copy of it. I co-wrote a song that ended up getting played in the late 80s. And I had the original cassette that disappeared. And then Devin was smart enough to make a CD a few years ago. And it's under the Devin Michaels Project. And it's called Meet Your Maker is the song that I co-wrote. And when it got played on college radio, he had an EP, so it was 5 tracks also. Would you believe that was the one out of the 5 tracks that got played? And I'm like, I felt good about that. I'm like, son of a bitch. I am half assisted on this. And yeah, Devin almost kind of got lost pretty much to the sands of time, like a lot of musicians, I'm not trying to change topic here, but like in high school. So I went to high school 81 to 85. One of my high school friends, he was a stoner, but he was huge into music. Why he never told me that he loved the blues, I have no clue. Maybe it wasn't cool back then in the early 80s to say, hey, I love blues music. But his name was Frank Blinkle. That's his real name. His stage name is Frank Bang. And Frank Bang, for 5 or 6 years, was Buddy Guy's guitar player. Seriously. And I'm just like, dude, I'm like, what the hell? And now he lives in Florida, and he goes up and down the state with his little band. He's got a 3-piece. and plays blues music and cuts tunes on occasion. So yeah, he's got a very.
I was gonna say, you know what's sad is like Buddy Guy's like the last like surviving of like the old blues players, you know.
Yep. I had his book, fascinating book. Oh my God, get it if you've never come across it. I gave it to my friend Donna Joe Cat Lady, but fascinating read. Oh my God, does he go? He digs into any name from the 50s, 60s, 70s blues, any name, and it's in there, and it's just like, dude. And like for a long time, him and Junior Wells were like this too, along with Muddy. And it's just like, I was born in the wrong timeline. I keep saying this. I should have been born 10 years sooner. Sure, I maybe would have ended up in Nam. I would have tried not to, but I got, I wish I was around for all that, and I wasn't.
No, I wish I was born like. I wish I was born like 50 years earlier, so I could have been around when like Blind Lemon Jefferson, Robert Johnson, Charlie Patton, like when all these people were around, you know.
Blind Lemon Chitlin, sure. I know what you're talking about.
I kind of wish I was
Blind Lemon Pie. That's my favorite. Blind Lemon Pie.
I kind of wish I would have been born in like the 50s so I could grow up with like the Beatles and stuff.
Yeah. Blind
You
Lemon
guys know
Pie.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like sometimes I wish I was born in the 50s so I could have grown up with like the Beatles and the British Invasion and the psychedelic movement and everything going on in the 60s, because when it comes to pop music, I'm a huge 60s fan of everything from that decade.
Yeah.
Okay,
And-
Paul, do you remember this? Sanford and Son, with those 78s, blind lemon jello. It's like, please, I want my daddy's records. Bubba played it. I want my daddy's records.
Oh God, Blind Lemon Jello. That's great. And this is, since we're on this for 2 seconds, I think I did this in the VC for a thread once, but one of the biggest mistakes I ever made, I'm always going to kick myself in the ass for this. This is a 90s story, like late 90s. So when my stepson was doing the Wisconsin Penal Code correction tour, I stopped at a nursing home that was having a garage sale inside. And I go in there, and there's this old, musty cardboard box full of 78s. 10 cents a piece, it said. You know what was half of that box? Gospel 78s on the Paramount label.
Oh, man.
I should have bought them. And why I didn't buy them was because I saw that label and I knew about the blues. I'm like, Paramount. I'm like, son of a bitch. I thought I maybe tripped on some Blind Blakes, Charlie Patton, that kind of stuff. No, these were all gospel. And I'm going, fuck it. I shouldn't have done that. I should have bought. There was like, I'd say 12 to 15 78 of Paramount gospel. God knows what was in there.
Oh, those things are like really highly coveted today, like all that, like, early like gospel blues stuff, on Paramount.
That's the one that hurt the most. That was my biggest collecting mistake. That probably is like the number one. And then, like I said, more personally, the second one would be finding in a flea market in the 70s, didn't have enough money, went back the next week and it was gone. A OG New Colony 6 breakthrough on Centaur. I'm a big NC6 fan, and I've been wanting that album for a very long time. And I am told they only made 500 to 1,000 copies.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they reissued it. Like I think Charlie Records reissued it. Some French label reissued it because that's some of the best mid '60s garage you get.
Yeah, that's been reissued many times. That's great. Like just great, like garage rock. Yeah.
I had the pleasure of meeting Ray Graffia. He was on that album. In fact, he's the one that sings lead on "I Love You So Much." Oh God, and CADILLAC. And I'm like, I was hooked. I think Sundays put out some type of a reish for Centaur stuff. And that's how I came across all that stuff. I colored red or orange wax. I have it from Sundays. And I got, I wonder what Jeff's got. I got that signed by Ray Graffia. And then I met Ronnie Rice a few years later. And I got him to sign that album along with the Rhino CD, the Best of New Colony 6.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that's one of my top ones is that Breakthrough album. I so want that damn thing because, like I said, I love all my Chicago area stuff. I represent, and not the Lollipop Guild, but I love anything that came out from the 50s to the 70s, especially. But I mean, there's 80s bands that didn't really make it, like The Kind, The Odd. Shoes should have been bigger. They were out of Zion, Illinois. Shoes should have been bigger. Pez Band should have been bigger. Off Broadway should have been bigger.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and you know, at least Off Broadway got a one hit, but I'm like, they all should have been bigger. And let's see what Jeff's got. Maybe. Hi, Jeff.
Hey.
Did you
I'm
go
back.
get something?
No, I had to let my dog out.
Oh,
My dog had to get potty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shoes and Pez Band, like, they had all the potential in the world. They never broke through, you know?
For 2 seconds, true story, for 2 seconds, I got to talk to Jeff Murphy. Because I went and called the, I think it was called Short Order Recorder, which was out of Zion, Illinois. That's where they're from. The first album was recorded in the Zion roller rink, which I used to half go past sometimes. And I'm just like, every time I go by, I'm like, son of a bitch. I said they recorded a small roller rink. And I'm like, that they recorded that damn thing in that. And yeah, Elektra didn't give him any love. I've got Boomerang and Tongue Twister. I got those, but yeah, they didn't get no love. It's like all those good bands. One of the more stranger interviews that I actually had over the phone was a dude by the name of Kevin Murphy. Kevin Murphy was a latter member of the American Breed. So he was on the 6970 material before American Breed broke up. And Kevin, along with Al Siner and Bedfield, the drummer, they went to Ask Rufus, which turned into Rufus with Shaka Khan.
Yeah, Shaka Khan. Yeah.
So I got to talk to Kevin, and I'm like, because here I am, I'm like this 14, 15-year-old dweeb with no car to go to see these people. But they took the time out to talk to me, and they sent me material. And Kevin went off, and I tried to talk to Gary Loazzo. I did, because I wanted a phone interview when I was working at WCRX. He was the owner and engineer for Pumpkin Studios, which was where Styx recorded at least parts of the albums from, I want to say, Equinox all the way through to Kilroy. And I think maybe Edge of the Century was also on Barking.
Was Paradise Theater one of those?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, and I'll always kick myself for this. I did get a chance to if I could have gotten my ass down there to Oak Park. I think it was Oak Park, or Oak Park or Oak Lawn. And they were working on some overdubs for a Kilroy session. So, you know, this 16-year-old nerd would have been like, but I never got a chance to do it. But Kevin we talked about how in 69, 70, when they were still on Acta, which was owned by Dot, because I mean, Acta put out psychedelic and bubblegum and psychedelic bubblegum.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that there was a whole album in the vault of an album that was a psychedelic bubblegum concept album called Uncle Willard. And this was in the mid 80s. I talked to Kevin, and I'm like, Uncle Willard.
Was this an American Breed album?
Yes. So it was the last lineup of American Breed before half of them jumped to Rufus. And so supposedly, though, once again, it was one of those things where the label went off and they're like, I don't hear a single. And so it got shelved. And supposedly, at least according to what Kevin said back then, that I think Rhino Records might have purchased at that time the catalogs to Acta, because they cut a 45 on Paramount, because I can't remember if maybe Paramount got involved or some shit. They only did 145. I've never seen the movie, but it was called The Brain was the movie, and American Breed cut a 45, and that song was in the movie. So some 69 movie was called The Brain. And so Kevin went off and mentioned about the few years that he was with Rufus. He said at that time that he still was loosely friends with Shaka Khan, and he still got to talk to Al ever so often, which I thought was neat. But he got into the management side of things, and there was a band called APB, which stood for Amusement Park Band. And I guess they got a contract with Atlantic, because Atlantic, for some reason, got involved in a lot of Chicago bands in the mid 80s. Okay, because let's face it, okay, Enough's Enough landed on Atco, but the one that was real close to home for us anyway, and I got to see these guys play once at the Thirsty Whale in River Grove, Illinois. Oh, that was a great place to play. You were all crammed in like sardines, but the energy was there. Was a band called Holland. And I don't know if you remember that name.
Beach Boys have an album called that.
Little Monster was what? Yes, I know where you're going, Mason, on your Holland. But Little Monsters, and the one guy that came out of that band was Michael Bascio, a.k.a. Michelangelo, the guitar player for Nitro, the four-neck guitar. And I'm like, when I saw that video, I'm like, what the holy hell is this? And I'm like, I bought that damn. I bought both albums. They did 2 albums together. But Holland, if you can ever find that album, it's called Little Monsters. And the song they used to play in Chicago was called Wake Up the Neighborhood, which was a really good song. But Atlantic dropped the ball. A lot of things were, for Chicago bands, they dropped the balls. It's like shit. And then down here, of all things, this was maybe about a few weeks ago, I came across, there was a CD of demos for that album along with unreleased stuff, which I guess is a semi-rare CD to find. It was on a piss-ass local label. So I have that too. But yeah, so Kevin Murphy was neat. And I also got to do a phone interview with Dennis Mikolas, who shortened his name to Dennis Mikolai, which I don't know why they dropped the S. He was the original keyboard player to the Buckinghams. He is the one that is all over the Kind of a Drag album on UCA Records. And I complimented him, of course, on that kind, because I love Kind of a Drag. That is like probably my favorite Buckingham song, I think, in my opinion. And
kids know the Buckinghams are not directly related or related at all to Lindsey Buckingham and Fleetwood Mac.
No.
See, because then there'd be a lot of trouble there.
There would be a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
I would go insane. There's so much trouble.
That's right. then they run over the records. What the hell?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh boy. So
the Sanford and Son with the blind lemon jello.
That's right. That's right.
They go to take the
God.
records and like they just run right over them.
Oh God, you know what, Dusty? You reminded me of another 78 story. Let me get some more coffee and I'll tell you what this one is.
Well, he's
This
getting
one
that.
was
I want to
hard.
show Kevin some. I mean, beans. Some. I was talking about that Kevin Murphy guy. I got his name in my mind, but I want to show Beans. Something that he probably doesn't have or may not have heard of.
Okay.
Are you a big enough Beach Boys collector to know about this?
What is that?
Al Jardine live in Las Vegas, 2001.
No. I only know his what was his postcards?
Well, this is technically
Album?
his first solo album because his first solo album was a live album. And the only thing that's really worth going to buy this, aside from hearing, I suppose if you want to hear Al Jardine and Brian Wilson's daughters perform Beach Boys songs live.
Mhm.
But the really most interesting part is one particular song, which is exclusive to this CD release, called California Energy Blues.
Hmm.
You know what? I ought to make a digital file of just that one track and like we transfer it to you because it's an interesting little song.
Yeah, I've never heard that.
But no, this came out in 2001. It's out of print. I'm trying to collect everything Beach Boys that I can. So I picked this up on Amazon for a pretty pricey deal.
I would like to get Al's autograph. I have Brian's. I have Mike's. I'd like to get Al's autograph.
Yeah,
and
and
David,
Paul, do you know about this? Have you seen
that
this around?
cover looks familiar.
Live in Las Vegas, 2001, Al Jardine.
Is that when it came out?
Yeah, it came out in 01, yeah.
Yeah, that looked familiar. I still need
So
to
what
get
this
that.
was after
Album.
Carl passed away in 98 and the Beach Boys thing kind of split in different touring groups. You know, Brian doing his solo tour, Mike and Bruce doing the Beach Boys thing. Al Jardine decided to get with Brian Wilson's daughters and his sons, and they formed a touring group.
Okay. You know, Mason, I'm wondering now that you brought that up, I kind of remember him coming to Chicago at a summer festival. And I think it was that lineup, but he might have brought some extra people. Like I could have sworn that Dean was with him and somebody else. I seriously, I think Al.
This lineup is Al Jardine, Wendy and Carney Wilson, and what are Al's sons' names? Matt Jardine, and I don't remember what the other one's name is.
Oh, Zeb, thank you.
Adam.
Thank you for
Adam.
mentioning that. Yeah. Huh? Adam.
What
are you talking about?
Yeah, the lineup is Al Jardine, Carney and Wendy Wilson, and Matt and Adam Jardine.
Seb says I can get a signed CD single of Waves of Love 2.0 on Discogs. There's a link. So maybe I'll get Al's too. I mean, I'd like one of everybody, but that's not going to happen.
I've got Brian's autograph.
Yeah.
Let me pull it out.
I would love to find some really cool Carl Lover.
There you go, Brian's autograph.
Well, there you go. How'd you get that?
I ordered this album on Amazon and it came like this. Oh,
nice. Okay.
There's no way I would have been. Because this album's out of print. There's only the one first pressing from 2004. So, like hell, 4-year-old me was going to be old enough to be able to get a Brian Wilson autograph. 4-year-old me didn't even know who Brian Wilson was. I knew who the who the Beach Boys were. I liked the Beach Boys music at that time, but I didn't know the individual guys or anything about their backstories.
Right. I'm going to be curious to see what's at the merch table for the Brian Wilson, Al Jardine, Blondie Chapin show. Seriously, I'm hoping maybe there's at least a signed goodie somewhere. I'll probably grab it if it's not too ridiculous. Now, my buddy, he went to Yngwie Malmsteen, and I guess they were charging $100 for a signed CD. I said, yeah, I wouldn't spend $100 for anybody. So I'm glad he didn't think about even getting it.
Also, Paul, I don't know if you know about these live albums from Brian Wilson that he put out in the early 2000s, the Live at the Roxy Theater, and he did a live version of Pet Sounds. And
didn't see
the
that.
Roxy Theater one is cool because you get a song that ended up being put out on the Flintstones movie, I believe, the Flintstones movie that they put out in like 2000. A song called This Isn't Love, and he performs a live version of that song on here that's exclusive to this, and it's it's the only time we get to hear Brian provide a lead vocal to the song This Isn't Love. Prior to this release, it was just done as an instrumental or done by a completely different artist on that Flintstones movie, like I mentioned. But that's one reason to have this. Also, this includes the only official release of a song that he originally recorded in the mid 80s called The First Time. I believe that's what it's called, right? Let me look that up. Yeah, The First Time. Yeah. So there's a couple reasons to pick this up.
Zeb's asking, do you like the Beach Boys Salute NASCAR?
Fuck no. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But
well, actually, you better make it quick. No offense, I'm going to have to be off the air in about 10 minutes.
Okay, well, this is basically Brian performed Pet Sounds live in 2002. If you want to hear him do Pet Sounds live, this is a must-have. And that Salute NASCAR. Okay, so after Carl died in 98, for whatever reason, Mike and Bruce and Dean Torrance and David Marks, of all people, decided to get together for a version of the Beach Boys and release something for like the NASCAR market. And I don't even have it yet. I might pick it up on Amazon. I don't know. But basically all it is, it's a waste of your money. All it is cheap re-recordings of classic Beach Boys songs.
Oh, God, get that NASCAR. That NASCAR album is awful.
Oh, you know about that?
Yeah, I've heard it. I looked it up on YouTube. I heard it.
Well, I get.
But is it worse than Summer in Paradise?
Technically, if you really want to count it,
if
you really want to count it as a Beach Boys official album, that was truly their last studio work before That's Why God Made the Radio.
I would rather hear that album.
I would say Summer in Paradise and the NASCAR album.
Also,
I call it a draw.
So, Paul, I know you got to get going pretty soon, but since Beans was away, Beans, do you have these? Or have you heard anything from them?
Yes. I have both of them, yeah.
This one, you really want to only pick this up because it's got the only official release of The First Time on it. And this one, obvious reasons. If you're a big fan of Pet Sounds and you want to hear them perform it live.
I have a Brian Wilson related story. So Steve Dahl, who was a big Chicago AM and FM DJ from the late 70s to, I think he finally retired from radio a few years back, but it used to be Steve Dahl and Gary Meyer. And their little tagline was, Steve and Gary, scumbag, wormy, idiots. And so I remember reading a story in the mid-90s. So, Mason, what was the name of the solo album that Brian did in the mid-90s?
He did two. One of them was a project with Van Dyke Parks called Orange Crate Art.
And then Imagination.
Imagination. was the late
98. Yeah.
But the other one in 95 was a soundtrack from a Don Was documentary called I Just Wasn't Made for These Times.
Okay, but so here's the thing, right? So it was a released Brian Wilson solo album, okay? And I remember getting that album. And I also remember Illinois Entertainer was a free Chicagoland newspaper where they kept up to date, you know, with all the club bookings, and then they would do special featured articles, which is what they did with Brian Wilson, because at that time, Brian Wilson moved of all places, and he stayed for only about, I think, 2 years in St. Charles, Illinois. And I knew where that was. And I'm going, holy crap, what brought him out to St. Charles? And then the next thing I saw in the article is Steve Dahl co-wrote 1 to 2 songs off of that Brian solo album. And so we used to get, yes.
Because Imagination from 98 only has the songwriting credits are either credited to Brian Wilson and Joe Thomas. Or
yeah.
or one song credited to Brian Wilson and Andy Paley.
Did he do another solo album pre-2001?
Not a studio work. No, after Imagination, his next studio work was 2004's Getting In Over My Head.
Yeah.
Listen, the name, for some reason in my brain, Sweet Insanity popped up in my head.
Well, yeah,
Am I right?
that was his second solo album that was unreleased.
Okay.
You're actually the third if you count what he was working on before his first solo album. You know, Spirit of Rock and Roll and a bunch of other stuff that didn't get released.
All right. Sweet Insanity was what Steve Dahl ends up in co-writes 1 to 2 songs. Steve Dahl had a band in the late 70s called Steve Dahl and the Teenage Radiation. If you guys want to hear some stupid stuff, the big thing was they did a spoof on My Sharona. They did a song about John Wayne Gacy. All in all, it's just another kid in the crawl. So they used to do all stupid, you know, kind of stuff like that. But Steve Dahl ended up in Brian Wilson's universe, and I knew about it. When Steve was the selected guest, we used to get monthly guests from the radio business to help us along, you know, because that's what I was in radio, Columbia College in the 90s. And so Steve came there as a guest, and he said, has anybody got any questions? Well, a lot of people, of course, asked about Steve and Gary, but I raised one. I said, I have a question for you that has nothing to do with Steve and Gary. And he goes, yeah, go ahead. And I'm like, how did you land in Brian Wilson's universe? And he stopped back for 2 seconds and he goes, what the, how do you, I go, Illinois Entertainer. They did an article. You were mentioned in it for some recordings. And he goes, that's right. He goes, actually, he said, through a friend of a friend, he says, is how I ended up hooked up, you know, part-time with Brian Wilson during those 2 years he lived in St. Charles. He says, we did do some stuff in his home studio in St. Charles. So if you're telling me that album got unreleased, then, you know,
that album was that album was not the mid-90s. That album would have come out in 91.
Yeah, that was supposed to be the follow-up to you know.
I don't know, guys.
You know, that's what most people say, but really, it was supposed, in my universe, it was supposed to be his third solo album, because in my universe, before the self-titled album, he would have put something else out that would have had stuff like Spirit of Rock and Roll and everything else that he was doing that didn't end up on the self-titled Brian Wilson album.
That is right, Mason. Hello, Paul. How are you? Rest in peace, Ivan Reitman. That is right. He passed away.
I didn't know he passed.
Huh?
Wow. Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah, I found that out. Yeah. I don't recall. Someone will have to let me know about if he was the one that directed Afterlife. I can't remember. That might have been his last project, if that was the case.
No. That was his son. His son directed that.
Okay. maybe the Andy Paley sessions after Sweet Insanity, pre-imagined. Who knows, Zeb?
Yeah,
I
because
just know
that,
you know,
if the Andy
it-
Paley sessions were followed through, that album would have been released. Rumored was to be released as an album called Slightly American Music in 95 or 6.
I would have loved to have met Brian, but just knowing that Steve Dahl, of all people, because I just didn't see that coming. You'd have to watch some old tapes of Steve Dahl to understand the personality he was.
In
He
fact,
could be a jerk, but he could be funny too.
I've tracked down the 3 major unreleased Brian Wilson solo albums, being the one before his first solo album, Sweet Insanity, and a version of the Andy Paley sessions. I've tracked them down through the internet, and I've made CDRs of them. So now it's like, hey, I want to hear an unreleased Brian Wilson album. I play my CD of it.
Yeah.
And I know you're not wild about it, Beans, but those songs from Sweet Insanity honestly were some of his best solo work.
No, they were. I mean, he worked with Dylan.
I mean, like, that's right. Bob Dylan was featured on The Spirit of Rock and Roll.
Mm-hmm.
The Sweet Insanity version, but not the original version. But like, Don't Let Her Know She's an Angel, that original version from Sweet Insanity, way better than what song Getting In Over Your Head or whatever that 2004 album was. Because that album, when he did that in 2004, he revisited a lot of the Sweet Insanity and some Andy Paley sessions.
There was.
But
quite
the problem
a bit.
was those recordings just, to me, are not as good as the originals. He's got this song on Sweet Insanity called "Thank You," which basically there's a lyric about talking about how his father beat him as a child. That's the only time I've ever heard Brian express that in a song.
Murray Wilson was such an asshole.
Like, I think the lyric goes, "Not my brother, not my mother, crazy beatings by my father," something like that. It's a really, really interesting song off that album.
I mean, talk about a pressure cooker household. Having to put up with that jackass who was
And
lucky.
Do You Have Any Regrets is just fun. That's just a fun song.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, no wonder, like, Brian had problems he had, like, you know.
And then sold the fucking catalog in '69. I'm like,
what did he sell it to? I forgot what he sold it to.
It was bullshit, was what it was. There should have been a major lawsuit.
He sold it for almost nothing. I mean, you know.
Well, yeah, but who did he sell it to? Was it like, it wasn't EMI, was it? What was it?
I thought it was I&M. I could be wrong.
Could have been.
Needless to say, there should have been a damn lawsuit.
BMG, maybe Big Music Group
I
or
don't
something.
know.
BMG. I think he said. I think it was said to be BMG or something like that. I don't know.
But let's face it.
I know it took
though, right?
It took them years to get the catalog back. What
Yeah, they eventually got it back, but it took like years and years.
And then lo and behold, a couple years ago they gave it all up again, including their likeness.
Well, that one was on them.
The Beach Boys.
Yeah, that was
everything. The Beach Boys sold everything that was the Beach Boys, including their likeness, their album discography, everything. To what was it, Azoff?
Yeah, Irving Azoff. Yeah.
I read that. I'm like, what the fuck? That's basic. You basically sold your band.
See, though, I think like all these artists like selling their like catalogs like that.
Yeah.
Like some people think it's a bad thing. I think it's a good thing because like it'll keep a lot of families together. Because like once the artist is gone, like you won't have all this fighting over like who owns what. It's like, okay, I took care of that before. Like, you know, I got 500 million for my catalog, you know, 3 years before I died.
They went through so many lawsuits to try to get that catalog back and then to just give it away.
Well, but
I mean, but look at their ages. They're like at the end of their lives, you know? It's
right.
Well, yeah, you
It was
got
on their terms.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's their retirement package right there, you know.
Ollie, I can't remember who Dylan sold his to, but Dylan sure made what was it, 300 million? And then
Yeah.
Springsteen will be a smartass and make it for 500 just to try to, Springsteen. That
And Neil Young sold half of his stuff for like 150 million.
Yeah.
So he still owns half of it, but
see, he didn't need Spotify money.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's a great thing. I mean, if you're like, 75, 78 years old and you can get like, $500 million right now, which is, you're never going to live to see that kind of revenue stream in your life,
Yeah. I mean, well, let's throw the monkey spin on here. Nez sold his rights, if I remember correctly, in 2021 to BMG, his solo stuff from the RCA catalog. He or maybe it was the whole entire fucking caboodle. BMG's got it for Nez. He must have known something was up, I think. And, same thing. Maybe he didn't want Jonathan and Christian and all those other people fighting amongst everything. And so I am hearing whispers, of a volume 2 for the different drum. Remember volume 1, the CD they put out on Real Gone? Yeah. They're supposedly setting up a volume 2. Could possibly be out by the end of the year. I'd be curious to see what they uncover on that.
Well, I think when Mike had like that heart surgery and stuff in 2018, I think he knew like it was pretty limited the time he had.
I really thought, honestly, I hate to say this, but I thought he was going to die when I heard about that. I figured 28. I'm glad we got him for 3 more years. On this world. And what is it? A week from today will be 3 years since Peter died. I cannot believe that. So guys, it's 8:30 on my time. I got to get going. We have gone over 2.5 hours, and would you believe we had up to 21 people watching this, ladies and gentlemen?
Good.
Yeah, that's one of the highest viewed so far at this point.
Good.
Live anyway. I like that, guys. I want everybody to have a great day today, whether you have your sweetie or not, and have a great week. Because spring will be coming soon. A couple more weeks, guys. Couple more.
Oh yeah.
And the outdoor concert season will start maybe at the end of March, around April 1st, and
that is if we're allowed to. That is if we're allowed to go to concerts again.
Right. They added a new concert actually about 2 days ago. Seven Dust will be coming down here again. It was a COVID cancel, and now they are bringing it back. So if I don't get to see Jeff Tate on the 18th, I may at least go get Seven Dust tickets because I really like them. I got to see them back 20 years ago this year at Milwaukee Summerfest. That's where I saw Seven Dust for a little bit. But I want everybody, I want to thank everybody that was here on stage here. I think Ken was the only other one that was on here besides you guys. And then I want to thank everybody in the Peanut Gallery. And of course, we want everybody to be able to succeed and enjoy when you've got the VC Looovvveee Boattttt. Goodbye, Isaac and Julie, and you're Julie Mason, and Gopher and Captain Stubing with the bag comb over.
Yeah.
Rock on. Why am I still talking in a pen? Because I fucking can. Have a great VD day.
Yeah.
Don't get the clap. Don't get crabs.
Okay. Bye-bye.
See you guys later.
You guys.